Good morning. Thank you, Your Excellency Ambassador, to join us today at the ICD, the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy here in Berlin. We would like to ask you some questions concerning cultural diplomacy. And the first one would be, what does cultural diplomacy means for you? And what role can cultural diplomacy play in the relations of Germany and Pakistan? And how does the Embassy of Pakistan implement the use of cultural diplomacy here in Berlin? Could you give maybe an example of cultural diplomacy? Has it been used by the embassy or by the state of Pakistan? And how could it strengthen the relation between the two countries?
First of all, I thank the Institute of Cultural Diplomacy to give me this opportunity to meet so many young people, because young belong to future. I mean, you are the future. And I always feel very happy in the company of young, for not only reasons that you are the future, but I also feel a little younger. So whenever I get an opportunity to talk with young, I would jump on that opportunity, whether it is a university or an institute or among youth groups. Having said that, you see, the cultural diplomacy that is the concept of cultural diplomacy, it means many things to many people. Culture is not a monolithic concept. It is a composite concept. It's a holistic concept. Culture is not just one aspect of, for instance, literature also comprises culture. Sports also comprises culture. Films also comprise culture, and on and on. So what do you define culture? First of all, you have to, culture of a society is a composite concept of how the way of life of that society. For instance, I would define culture as the way of life of a society, and that also includes concepts like values that you have food, you have music, you have dances. All these are part of culture. So culture, and then diplomacy. The ancient diplomats, who were they? They were the messengers. They were regarded as messengers. And so diplomacy, when you see in the ancient Greek states or maybe ancient Chinese state system, you see that these people were the envoys or the messengers. Later on, they came to be known also as ambassadors and high commissioners. But actually, these were the concept of diplomacy starts with, as you know, when human beings started organizing themselves into some sort of a system, societies, group living, they started sending out messengers to the other people who are not of the same kind or not a member of the same setup or same group. So you have messengers. So diplomacy is the core function of diplomacy. Started with interaction between two different groups of people, two different societies, two different city states, you can call it, or you can call it two nation states, and then subsequently you have concepts of civilization states and civilizational empires. So cultural diplomacy, that is so far for the concept. And then you ask what cultural diplomacy role between Germany and Pakistan and Germany. You see, as a young man, when I happened to be of your age group, when I was in a university student, I took German as my first foreign language 40 years ago. I seem to have grown old, but I never want to have that feeling, I still feel that I am still living in that classroom where actually I began my German lessons. Sprachen Deutsch war meine erste Liebe. So it was my first love. So I started with that 17 years, at the age of 17 years, 1974. And my teacher used to teach me a group of 25 people. I was hoping for getting a scholarship to get education in Germany. Many people asked me, why Germany? I said, it's just a spontaneous feeling that Germans' history and culture, Germans have really, the economy was coming back very fast, and Germans have, recovered, and also their economy, after the First World War and Second World War, and after so much of destruction and all that, German economy in 70s was also in a major comeback, so which continues actually. So I saw that, as a young man, I was looking for what I am sitting here today for, the values, to know the values that make Germany and German people so great people. So it was a sort of a discovery. It was a sort of a, spiritual, you can say, relationship. I wanted to know. I'm telling you what is actually looking back 40 years. As a young man, I wanted to know the values that make a nation, a society that great. And then, in 100 years or so many also years back, if you see the history, the last 100 years, with so much of destruction, misery, with so much of conflict, violence, German society has come back. German economy has come back. Germans have been able to again be a very strong country, and so there are lessons in this. And so, as a young man, my search was to go for the deeper lessons, for the deeper values that hold a society. And now that I got this opportunity after 40 years, I never knew that I will get that opportunity. Never. When you actually, it's a God who alone knows what is in your heart. Nobody else knows. So when I learned the language, I gave the message that I was interested in Germany, to know the German people, to know the German culture. So for me, coming here is like a dream come true. I mean, it was a dream. Some dreams do come true, some do not. But I thought that I had forgotten it, because after in the last 40 years, I've been going around the world and going to different countries, even learning different languages, not just German language, but also many other languages. So, but then I saw that it's like a belief in destiny. Somehow, someone who makes daily headlines was looking at my passion inside, and so I am coming now to Germany. My efforts will be to actually bring our two countries together, be able to forge new relationships, new partnerships in sectors of economic, social, health. You have investment, trade, almost all sectors. But my own interest would be to learn about the values of this society, and that's what that's my personal passion, my individual passion. And I'm very happy to come to a place like this, because this is the place where you actually can learn, where I can learn what I want to learn. Maybe you can also learn what you want to learn, but I want to learn more. I want to learn because it was something that I have been looking for, to know the essential soft power that makes a society great, civilization, and try to, in a globally connected world, try to make best practices of one society and one country, one civilization come together, and to learn from each other, to utilize those best values and societies for the good of the mankind, or the womankind. You can call it both ways.
Thank you.
I hope I have answered your question. I don't know.
Yeah, you did.
But if I have not, please do tell me, because I'm an avid speaker, so I will continue to explain until you say that you have got your answer.
Of course. And let me maybe come back to the relation between Pakistan and Germany, because you talked about the values that keep a society together. So where would you see relations between Pakistan, or maybe similarities or differences between Pakistan and the German values, as you refer to yourself, a student of the...
Also, the Germans have great values. We have our values, we have our strength. Sometimes we do not tell our strength. We are very miser in that. We very self, introvert. In Asian societies generally tend to be introvert. Let's be very. I don't mind criticizing myself if it comes to that. We are introvert in some senses. We don't want to, go out of the way to say what are we. We don't beat our trumpet.
Yeah.
Nor we want to. So the rest of the world, when they have opinion about us, we don't like that. So if you don't beat your trumpet, if you don't tell what you are, what you believe in, what are your strengths, or what are that you are looking for, others will certainly judge you. It's a very judgmental world. It's a very judgmental world. If the moment you come, you form an opinion of a person. It's a very opinionated world. So it's sad to say that, but it is an opinionated. So you have to tell your story in order to help other people form opinions about yourself. We do not tell the story. So, what about talking of Germany and Pakistan? I mean, we have a very traditionally very close relations with Germany since 1951. I remember that we just celebrated our 50th anniversary celebrations in 2000. In 2000, what was it? Yes, so 60 years of celebrations in 2011. So we have a multifaceted cooperation. The good thing about Germans is that they are liked in Pakistan. They are liked their way of their diplomacy. I think it's also to the credit of, we are talking with Dr. Mark, and it's to the credit of German soft power, maybe, or German cultural diplomacy, that Germans have got so much of appeal in Pakistan. We don't have a cooperation that is actually commensurate with the level of potential that exists with both Germany and Pakistan. We do not have the level of, you can say, engagement that is actually demanded by the level of cultural diplomacy inroads that Germans have in Pakistan. Pakistan, I don't know, is generally, I say, is my pet word. Pakistan is known for the wrong reasons, not for the right reasons. And I have told that wherever I have gone, and I have gone to nearly 74 countries in the world. And I've told them that, you see, we are known for the wrong reasons. And that clouds a lot of thinking on the part of other people to know us, because there is only negatives that comes out of Pakistan. I mean, at least that is what the world knows about Pakistan. So a lot of it is because Pakistan's own inability and Pakistani's inability to engage with the rest of the world. Our inability is due to our sometimes psychological reasons, like we feel shy. Maybe we think that no need to tell the story. The world knows, the world will come to know what is the point in telling your story. Don't beat your trumpet. It's a cultural issue. Again, part of cultural diplomacy that this is precisely cultural diplomacy addresses. A problem of cultural, socio mindset. So, but I think German and Pakistan relations have great potential, great work to do. A lot of the work, not only in economics or trade or investment, on the side that actually the agenda of what this institute does is in the area of culture and cultural dialogues. one of among the so many events that this institute organizes, I know, and it's a whole host of themes like interfaith dialogues, like philosophical dialogues, and dialogues about how to make this world a better place, dialogues about how to increase the understanding between the youth of all countries and nations. Why should we have to hate each other? Why should human beings have to, despite so many thousands of years of our evolution, why can't we become a better human beings? So, these are things that, much more serious issues, like deeper issues of philosophy, of the way that we want to shape this world. What kind of world that for instance, this group of young people want? Do you want a world in which 90% of the places you cannot travel? Or do you want a world in which all of you could be traveling to 100% of places of the world freely, seeking job opportunities, seeking opportunities of all kinds, making love, making relationships, making partnerships? So it should be a world in which we should see ourselves not in isolated communities. It's a one world, unless we find some other planets and maybe some of our relatives there. We have to live with this world. So I think Germany and Pakistan, let me tell you, in my own personal view, we haven't really gone too far on our potential. We haven't, utilized only maybe a few percentage of our potential. I don't know. I am reaching my retirement in 2 years' time, and I see that I will try to make maximum use of these 2 years to realize the dream that generally youngsters dream. 17-year-old youngsters, for an ideal world in which you have all good things, nice things. That's what young people dream.
No, we're starting now. Yes.
So you are with
At
the
least
right person.
We're trying. Thank you.
Ambassador, in terms of nation branding and tourism, how do you see cultural diplomacy playing a role in understanding Pakistan and promoting the image of Pakistan around the world?
Let me tell you, we haven't branded ourselves yet. Others have branded us. So we don't mind that when others have branded us, And I say to my people, like I say to you people, that unless you brand yourselves, others will brand you. It's not a very kind world sometimes. People do brand everyone. The point that I was making, we are an opinionated society. The global society is an opinionated society. It forms immediately an opinion. When you look at me, you will form an opinion. When I look at you, I will form an opinion. So unless we brand ourselves, Pakistan has what comes out of Pakistan, the brands that have for Pakistan is unfortunately known to the whole world. I'm not going to repeat them. The brands that come, the sort of images that come from there, the sort of issues that are in the world. But I see Pakistan actually, and this is a very enticing or very, very tempting thing that you have put it, and I am happy that you put it, because this is close to my heart, the branding of Pakistan. Pakistan, I see branding as a country which actually is a country which has a mission to play in the world, a country which has, there are different ways of branding Pakistan. We brand ourselves, sometimes we call it beautiful Pakistan. Sometimes we brand ourselves, let me tell you, some of you might actually smile and some of you might burst into laughter. We call our country as heaven on earth. I can see smiles everywhere. That's it. But we never brand it like that. We call ourselves. We call ourselves. We think that we have the heaven on the earth. Now look at it. The difference in perceptions. It's 100%. Rest of the world would just laugh at it, and then what we believe in. and what we Pakistanis think. Now, you'll say, why you believe you are a heaven on earth with all these sort of terrorism incidents that are taking place, with all the sorts of these terrorists, that, dot your countryside and on your frontiers, and with the sort of, problems that you have. How can you call your country as heaven on earth? How you can call your country with the messages as a beautiful country? Your country sends out the messages, whatever we read about. I mean, the rest of the world will say, look at how you treat your minorities, look at how you treat your women, look at how you treat your children, and look at how you treat. I mean, this is the message of Pakistan that is coming from there. It doesn't, it is, because Pakistan, like any other country, all these incidents take place in all countries of the world. No countries is free from any I think human societies, we haven't created a perfect society, let me tell you. This is my personal feeling. All over the world, whatever we have seen, whatever I have gone, every society has its own strength as well as its weaknesses. Every society carries its strength and weaknesses. Pakistan does have some of the weaknesses, some of the strengths of Pakistan, but the strengths of Pakistan are never known, and not known to even Pakistanis would not like to tell about it. So when you talk of branding, I would say Pakistan, we brand ourselves in as many people you meet, as many branding, especially in tourism respects. Some people call amazing Pakistan. Well, amazing in the respects that we make amazing news development. Amazing news. So who knows how amazing we are. And then you have the brand, something beautiful Pakistan. Since you mentioned tourism, so I'm talking of the tourism branding that we think we should aspire for, or at least put it to the rest of the world. Why we say branding beautiful Pakistan? Again, and I remember an American scholar, talking about that hardly a country with that sort of latitude and longitude that Pakistan has so much of diversity, not only in terms of what he says, 8 climatic zones, 14 vegetation zones, 12 topographic zones. Those who are students of geography and geology will understand what I'm talking. Not only that, with everybody and anybody in history who mattered, tried to go through that region. I mean, I'm not talking of Macedonian Alexander only. You see how much, you had Huns, you had Arabs, Turks, everybody, anybody, till now. You have in our neighborhood, ISAF, which was 46 nations, went into that neighborhood. Before that, you had the Soviets, who had with all the East Bloc countries, they went there, in that region. So why I tell you this, you see, it's an amazing country where, of different civilizations have come and melted there. We make love, we don't make, conflict. In that region, we have people of all kinds coming. You go in some parts of Pakistan, you will relate yourself. It's one country which actually, one mini world, where you have people and civilizations and cultures from all over the world. We are a multicultural society. America became a multicultural society for the last 500 years, or 400 years, or 300 years. We are multicultural for the last 5,000 or 8,000 years. So what is our strength? Our strength is that we are a highly hybrid society. We are a resilient society. When you are people of different culture, races, you actually work with the best amongst you. So we have, when the civilizations, the Greek civilizations came, the Huns came, the Chinese came, the Mongols came, the Turks came, the Arabs came. Once I was in America, and I tell you one interesting comment. I have been gone to America twice. So one of the American, analysts, of course, military analyst, was telling me it becomes difficult for us to put Pakistan. Where do we put Pakistan? I said, you can put Pakistan anywhere, because we carry influences from everywhere. He says, we can't put you in South Asia. Told me, he can't put you in South Asia because we also have other tendencies and other, cultural, again, very important subject for cultural institute to study. We are as much South Asians, as much Arabs, as much Turks, as much Persians, as much Central Asians, as much Europeans, and as much Africans. Most of you might be really very amazed. What are you talking? We have people who have African ancestry. We have people who are European ancestry, and not few thousands, into millions. Millions. You go to north of Pakistan, some of you might feel that we are in Europe, because the people are like Europeans. Well, we have them, maybe the children of Alexander, or maybe those who came earlier than that, who knows? So, we are one country, 200 million people, with all sorts of influences, and it makes us very, very hybrid, strong country. Very strong, very resilient country. We can live with anything and live with nothing also. So that is our strength. When you talk about branding, this is, I think I told you enough of what we want our nation branding. I think we are the most resilient country in the world, one of the most resilient country. We have a lot of, and tourism wise, we would like to be branded as a country, maybe beautiful Pakistan. For me, beauty is very, it appeals to all the people, especially to young people. But certainly to me also, it appeals that, we should call things of beauty is a joy for you, ever, they say that. So Pakistan is beautiful. Pakistan is my branding for that. It's a Pakistan which I think not only beautiful geographically, it is beautiful culturally, it is beautiful socially, it is beautiful. It's beautiful. We have valleys, we have deserts, we have out of the world 20 highest mountains, we have 14 highest peaks in the world. Out of the world's second largest plateau is in Pakistan, second highest mountain is in Pakistan. Among the largest number of lakes are in Pakistan. So we have very striking diversity in Pakistan. We have deserts, we have what you call marshy lands, we have coastal area, we have plateau, we have valleys, we have glaciers, more glaciers than any country in the world. You may not know it. You see? But who knows it? Nobody. Even Pakistanis myself, I didn't know half of my country. So, it is Pakistanis first, they have to know their own country. Then we can let other people know. So I think I tried to answer your cultural diplomacy. I think this is what I'm looking, actually, understanding Pakistan. And then ICD will be trying to utilize ICD platform and other platforms that are available to me to say the story that we are. We haven't told our story. I think, despite the fact that we have had many speakers who come and tell you, my way of telling a story is different. We come from a country where telling a story is a culture. It's called Kisachar Darwesh, which means one Darwesh tells a story, another Darwesh tells a story, and then it spins and spins and spins and spins. So we are a storyteller nation, That's another branding, but I'm not a tourist branding, tourism. So I think I will use this platform in creating greater understanding particularly among the young German youth, because there lies the future. The young Germans have to know and have to build a better world together with the Pakistani youth. So that is what I'm aiming for. And the image of Pakistan, first of all, we Pakistanis have to do the image of Pakistan. Well, I will utilize this platform of this ICD and others to promote the image of Pakistan. But, image of Pakistan can only be better if people down there in Pakistan and also the rest of the world develop, instead of stereotyping a country, a society, a people. You don't stereotype just because you have one individual who is out of the ordinary. You do not categorize or stereotype societies. So my objective would be that bad, good people are everywhere, and Pakistan should be not stereotyped. Of course, we have our issues, we have our difficulties, of course. But I think we need to be understood.
What role can cultural diplomacy play in conflict resolution and also in peace building in post-conflict situations?
Well, that's quite a serious thing, Generally, this subject is this subject of what all youngsters make thesis and writings in United Nations, under the United Nations. This is one issue, that what cultural diplomacy can do to promote peace, conflict resolution, and also in post-conflict rehabilitation. This is it. Now, cultural diplomacy, if you ask me, although I have great respect for Dr. Marx, met his enthusiasm and passion. You see, I think, as they say, love what you do and do what you love. So, that's a sort of, impressions I got this early morning encouraged me. This is what is a person who is really committed to use cultural diplomacy tools and knowledge to promote better understanding in this world. How cultural diplomacy can promote conflict resolution. First of all, the cultural diplomacy can generate better understanding. That is first thing. First things first. When better understanding is achieved, then dialogue will take place. When dialogues will take place, human beings will discover many common things. Why people go into conflict? Because, of course, they have biases, and biases are created because of ignorance. Because I don't know you, you don't know me. Then in that case, you can be vulnerable to biases. You can create a narrow perception of me in your heart. You might think, this man is, you may not have actually known me, but you might have opinion about me because you do not have you have no communication with me. Once you have communication with me, you might think that this man is not that bad. I was having just because seeing the size of his nose or maybe size of his hair, I was thinking that probably this man is not that what I think. But this, after talking with him, I find he's a different man. How wrong I was. So conflict situations created between societies, because societies also, like individuals, they become organic entities and they start behaving like individuals. Unless, we have channels of communication, and the channels of communication will be opened by people like Dr. Mark and institutes like ICD. You are doing over here what they call a holy mission. So you actually break down barriers. You break ice. You break ice. You let people communicate with each other. This is what that we need, that we must communicate with each other. Once we communicate, we will generate the understanding. When we generate the understanding, then we will have dialogue also, more dialogues, more understanding, and then gradually it will build up, and then conflict situations, even if they have arisen, they could also be resolved. There are situations in which we should never stop dialogue. We should never stop communication. There lies the problems, when we start cutting off communication, when we start stereotyping others, when we start making opinions of others. Let us give peace a chance. Let's give dialogue a chance. Always use dialogue. The alternative to dialogue is simply miseries, conflict, violence. That's what it is. In the world now, what you see, most of the violence is because there is a lack of dialogue, lack of understanding. We don't understand each other. We don't want to know about each other. Or we are too narrow-minded. We think what they say in Alice, in German, there's a very good concept. Everybody thinks he's right. Yes, we could be right, but others are also right. No? Why to just regard such a self-centric, self-egoistic, self-centered, very highly arrogant haughty way of doing things. We can, in the world, we can do better ways of, we must discover better ways of handling our issues, better ways of, So cultural diplomacy it addresses this issue to its core. What you people are doing, you people will bring the world together. That's a very important objective, And Dr. Mark, I don't know if there was a alternate, what you call a blessing institution, they would have blessed him. So, because to bring the two people in my own religion is nothing much worth than bringing two hearts together. This is the greatest thing that you can do. To make two human beings understand each other is the greatest thing that you can do for this world. And to bring the societies together by way of cultural diplomacy, I think this is the right thing to do for all of us, because this is good for your future of the young people here. You are looking to a world in which you can travel without fear, in which you can work without fear, in which you can establish relationships without fear. The world is a beautiful place. It's a place in which you will find, as soon as you leave your home and go, you see that different societies have different strength, different things that appeal to you, and you will see that how when God was creating this world, how he must have been in his best. Human beings are the best gift of God. Of course, there are many other gifts. So if we cannot manage our affairs and start, cutting down communication, no dialogues, people start having all kinds of stereotypes, and then you have this conflict, violence, everyone frowning on the other. So that sort of thing, I think, cultural diplomacy will address. And peace building, of course, will come as a consequence of that.
All right. I'm afraid we're running a bit out of time.
Please go ahead.
So, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for your interesting answers and for the interview. I think we all hope that the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy and the Embassy of Pakistan can help to improve the world a little bit more through peaceful cooperation and soft power, and we hope to see you again at the ICD.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Indeed, it's a great opportunity for me to talk to youngsters. I look forward to more opportunities. You can actually, I told Dr. Mark, I am available for, I'm a very free person, ready to talk on any theme. Sometimes be prepared also. Sometimes talking about my own passionate experiences and passionate mission that I have. So I will be very happy to be amongst you. You are the greatest asset of any society is its young. So young people being its greatest asset, to talk to them is my greatest pleasure.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.